The following is a paid program by Jerusalem Prayer Team.
Behind me, a terrorist state, Iran, that is hell-bent on an Islamic revolution, not only to spread it through Iran and the Middle East, but to the streets of America.
This is a religious extremism that we have never encountered. It's a culture of death.
Imagine a world in which Hitler had atomic bombs.
You were almost a screwdriver's turn away from creating nuclear fuel that can go boom, 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 the bomb.
They really believe they are implementing Allah's will in destroying the infidels.
Hosting this special report is Dr. Mike Evans, noted journalist, New York Times best-selling author, and confidant for over 30 years to leaders in the Middle East.
I'm here today with a serious warning and a plan of action for all God-fearing people in America. I have reason to be totally convinced that Iran will go nuclear within the next 12 months if Americans do not unite and insist that our president and liberal left appeasement politicians stand up to Iran's president and supreme leader. This could well be the last appeal to mobilize God-fearing Americans to stop the first Islamic terrorist state in history from having an atomic bomb, Iran.
Winning the war against terror isn't just about Iraq. It ultimately goes through Iran, the center of world Islamic terrorism. The war in the Middle East may ultimately be the battle for the soul of America. Today, we face an evil unlike any we have seen before. Vile words of twisted hatred spill from the Islamic extremists of Iran, who preach an apocalyptic jihad or holy war against the great Satan, America, and radically call for the purging of Israel from the face of the earth. Today, America must stand and face her greatest challenge, the challenge of our generation.
On November 9, 2009, the Israeli military intercepted a massive missiles and weapons shipment headed for radical Hezbollah terrorists in neighboring Lebanon. The container ship had 500 tons of rockets, missiles, mortars, grenades, and anti-tank weapons, the largest ever seized, with at least 3,000 missiles on board, according to the Israeli military. This is clear proof before the world that Iran is behind the destruction of Israel and backing every terrorist movement against it. As I show in my new book, Atomic Iran, to underestimate the seriousness of this situation could prove to be dead wrong, very dead.
Iran is the most radical, extremist, religiously motivated group in that part of the world.
Well, I think that Ahmadinejad is a greater threat to than Bin Laden at this point. Bin Laden at this point is a fugitive, but Ahmadinejad, is a world leader in a sense that he is invited by the United Nations to address the General Assembly, and it confers a immunity upon him, if not a legitimacy.
I think that it's understandable how they got themselves into the mode of thinking that we're paper tigers. The most dangerous thing in the world in dealing with these religious fanatic totalitarians is to talk big and then not follow through.
And up to now, nuclear weapons have been in the hands of responsible regimes. You have one regime, one bizarre regime that apparently has them now in North Korea, but there aren't a billion North Koreans that people seek to inspire into a religious war. The reason they want to eradicate us is they hate us because of you, because they say we're the small Satan, you're the great Satan in America.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land.
So why did I write my new book, Atomic Iran, Countdown to Armageddon? It was written to mobilize the American people to pray, stand up, and let the President and Congress know that America must join with Israel and bankrupt Iran before it's too late. This is our last chance. If the American people do not unite and courageously stand up to the liberal left appeasers by calling on President Obama to act and thereby slowing Iran's nuclear pursuits, our children and grandchildren will inherit a legacy of unspeakable hell.
The massive funding of terrorism by Iran has helped build a worldwide network of terrorists, from Spain to Indonesia, from England to Venezuela, with deadly results. Today, Iran is sending terrorists by the thousands into Iraq. Iran is responsible for killing American soldiers almost every day. Over 85% of the roadside explosive devices used to kill most American troops, known as IEDs, are made in Iranian death factories, smuggled into Iraq through extensive underground terrorist networks. And in a fanatical, terrifying plan, Iran claims to have indoctrinated and trained over 50,000 suicide bombers, ready right now to head to the West. All of them consumed with an obsessive desire to kill as many Jews and Americans as possible.
I am reaching out to the entire nation by television to mobilize the millions of God-fearing Americans and challenge each of you to rise up and take action. This situation is far more serious than our news media and our political leaders would have you believe. In fact, I believe this is the last opportunity to stop Iran before war. I don't want there to be war. I don't want my children or grandchildren to be threatened by an enriched uranium bomb. When nuclear weapons are involved, we do not get a second chance. If any mistake or miscalculation is made, and our government is very close to that point right now, I'm calling on you and all Americans to take action in 3 ways. Here's how. First, commit to pray. Your prayers today can turn a season of war into a season of peace. In Bible days, it was Esther's prayers that saved her nation. She was asked, "Who knows, but you have come into the kingdom for such a time as this." And today, you and I are asked the same question. The Jerusalem Prayer Team, which has been endorsed by 300 prominent Christian leaders, is calling on all Christians to pray fervently for God's intervention in this crisis. Second, add your name to a covenant of support that will be delivered both to President Obama and to Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, affirming to both of them our unwavering support for Israel and our total commitment to prevent a nuclear Iran. This document will be delivered to both national leaders. Everyone who responds to this program will also get a copy of this covenant as a powerful reminder of your commitment. Third, we need your financial support today so we can get this urgent message out by television everywhere. We need to alert America about this extremely urgent situation. Your gift of just $50 today will help make it possible. Call the number on your screen. When you do, I will send you a lapel pin to boldly proclaim you are joining us in prayer over this crisis. I will also send you the petition to sign and return so we can present it to the President and Prime Minister, and I will send you an autographed copy of my new book, Atomic Iran: Countdown to Armageddon. If you love Israel and understand that the U.S. is a blessed nation because it stands with Israel, you must have this book. The first time I spoke from this book, I was at the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. It has been widely acclaimed as giving you the real story on the Middle East conflict as it stands today. And it will give you a powerful insight into the current world crisis and what you can do about it.